There are a number of ways to put a wing on an adult mayfly. I am tying this mayfly on a number 14 dry hook, but use the size of a hook for your local mayfly population. I'm using a base of black thread. The tail will be some fibers from this dark hackle feather. The wing is going to be tips from this dun hen cape, and the hackle, there's going to be some light tan for the body, and then the front hackle is this dark dun hackle feather. I'm going to start after the thread is laid down. I'm going to pull some fibers off of this dark feather about the length of the hook shank for the hook. I do twist my thread counterclockwise. That causes it to turn back into my finger and makes it easier to tie down. Clip out the excess. I'm going to put the wing in before I do the body. So I still have another piece of that. So I'm going to take the thread back up here to where I'm going to tie in the wing, a couple eye lengths behind the eye. So I have stripped out all the fibers from these two hackle tips, so I'm just going to use the tips. I'm going to lay the tips against each other so that they flare away from each other, and put one on each side of the hook. The wing length is from behind the eye back to the far bend of the hook, but tied in here a couple eye lengths behind. Yeah. Here's my conundrum with tying these tips in, is that I get tangled up in the ends of the feather, but if I cut those off too soon, then what happens is that I have too short of a end. So maybe if I just clip them here, I can get them tied in. There we go. Now I'm going to lift those wing feathers up. Find them in here. Lift them up and pull them towards the eye. And then I'm going to wind behind them. And the point of doing that is to get them to stand up. Then I can trim out these stems. Now I'm going to take my thread back, and I can see that I'm winding in some of that wing fibers, but that's all right. That's all going to get covered up. Take it back to the tail, and I'm going to dub in the body. So get my dubbing noodle onto my thread. Try to get a nice thin noodle. So that it's not a very bulky body. And again, color here is somewhat optional depending on mayflies in the area where the fishing is going to happen. Bring that up right behind the wings. I've stripped off the fibers on the end of this dark dun. I'm going to lay that down between the feathers and see if I can catch that in without catching the wings. There we go. Trick here is not to let those wings lay down behind the hook, and then bring my thread up in front, stand the wings up, and then I can clip out a little stem. Now, if this fly is tied with grizzly hackle, I'm going to do 2 wraps behind the wings, trying to keep those wings upright. If this is tied with grizzly hackle, tips for the wings and grizzly and brown hackle combined for the hackle, then you get an Adams, which is one of the named imitations of a mayfly. Couple wraps in front, kind of depending on how much hook I have out there. I'm going to just put a couple of wraps around my hackle feather just to hold it in place. Then I need to pull all these fibers back so I can wrap the head. I find that a pen, I use this pen also for tying half hitches. But if I push that all back with the pen, then it cleans it all out of there. I can wrap the head. Looks like I still have a fiber in there I want to clip out. Then I can come back, clip the excess of this dark dun, and then I can finish the head, put a whip finish on that, and some head cement to hold the knot. And I have the basic form for any of the mayfly imitations. This is the adult mayfly imitated as it is emerged from its pupal case and is drying its wings ready to fly off. A little bit of head cement. I use a nut pick for my bodkin, and then I put a little bit of head cement on that, and I like to turn my hook upside down and start that cement on the bottom, and then just turn my fly around, apply a nice layer of cement. So this is a adult mayfly imitation with hackle tip wings.